come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
All right, good evening, all, and welcome to the Village Radio Talk Show. We're very excited to be here. Our host, I'm Roger Daly. I am the host of your show, and joining me is the electrifying, good-looking, newly birthday boy, the great Senator, Dr. John Llewellyn Sampson. John L. Sampson, what's going on?
Hey, Roger, you know what the hell is going on? What's happening to our judicial system? Man, oh man. But first things first, want to give honor to the man most high God for giving us an opportunity to be here on another Thursday. I'm sorry I'm not in the studio, but I had situations at work that I had to take care of, and also want to give a big shout out to Miss Hezra Ali for putting that Caribbean event together at Gracie Mansion. Roderick, you're missing it. We're missing it, but it's going to be a good event honoring those the Caribbean heritage. But let's get down to the business of the day. One of the things that I think just really
before you get to that, let me just remind everybody that you're watching the Village Radio Talk Show. We are dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing their dreams at any age, at any point. So thank you for watching, listening, viewing, sharing, participating with the Village. Make sure you have your popcorn, your nice healthy drink to come out and listen in, because John has a lot on his mind today, and we have a lot to talk about today. So yeah, John, you were saying about the court system.
Yeah, I think one of the things that really just jumped out, just looking at this whole court system and what's going on, even looking at the whole situation with Hunter Biden, and you got the whistleblower who's coming forward talking about the way there was favorable treatment given to his son, Hunter Biden. But then we go look at the Supreme Court and decisions that they talked about affirmative action. Everybody's really in an uproar because basically they said when it comes to college admissions, you cannot use race in determining applicant's success for the success of his application to basically be admitted to your school. And what I think and what I want to tell all our villagers, everybody's in an uproar. I'm listening to, the mainstream media. I'm listening to Fox, who's very happy the way the decision came out. I think the bottom line in this whole thing, Roger, is we as a people are responsible for that decision because our failure to understand the importance of the Supreme Court led us not to come out and vote for a candidate, although we may not have supported Hillary, didn't like certain issues. We were then given President Trump. And as a result of that, she was able to appoint 3 justices to the Supreme Court. Today's decision on knocking down affirmative actions was a 6-3 decision. And to no surprise, Clarence Thomas was on the side of the majority. Clarence Thomas is a person who has benefited from affirmative action, but feels that he has to pull the ladder. He has to pull the ladder up instead of leaving the ladder down for allowing others to take advantage of what he took advantage of. Because if it wasn't for the sacrifices of those people in the 50s or 60s, Clarence Thomas would never be a Supreme Court judge. So he irks me, but I don't expect anything from him because I think he does this blatantly, because the way he was treated with respect to that Anita Hill hearing. So I think he goes out of his way, anything to deal with civil rights, anything to deal with voting rights. Clarence Thomas will go out of his way to screw people of color. That's my position, and that's my diatribe for this morning, for this evening.
Well,
Roger.
let me tell you something. Right? Let me tell you something immediately. Right? Immediately. You're not wrong. And sometimes, like Clarence Thomas and Johnny Jackson Brown and Sotomayor, all of these 3 justices are in a unique position. And the position that they're in, right, the position that they're in is strongly to help people of color and the few who are able to make it to the next level, but they just don't have the resources to do it. I have a very good friend. Two young ladies, and they both have children, and they're the West Indian. And when you talk to them, they get upset. I think one of them is coming around, and one of them I just left the conversation alone, right? And I say to them, your daughter, your son is very smart. And if you put them in front of a tree, they'll figure out what to do and learn from the tree. But why not create the greatest opportunity for them to exploit their intelligence? And when you take away certain things from them, because you're limiting them, it's causing a problem. So when you have intelligent people who can't afford to get to the Harvard or the North Carolina because economically it's just not there, and the burdens of economics get to them, it causes a problem. But so affirmative action, me personally don't like affirmative action, me personally. However, the importance of affirmative action, I understand and will support, right? Because that's important, right? Because people don't, it's the same reason why I cannot support the death penalty. Not because I don't think the death penalty is worth having, but there are too many people who can't get out, right? They can't get out of the death penalty. So therefore, it's not good to have it because too many people are going to suffer. Same thing with, so affirmative action is, yes, you want a world where it's going to be fear. But the reality is, if I give John $100,000 and I give you, Empress Danielle, $20,000, but we both have the same level. But you and John both have the same level of intelligence. John is going to go further, or expected data wise to go further than you, and he's going to have the option of screwing up. You don't have that option because you don't have the opportunity yet. John has $80,000 more to spend than you, and that's why affirmative action sometimes it helps to equal the playing field. You know, so that John, and Clarence, it's like what you didn't know that you were given opportunities to get to college. You think it was just your merit? Yes, they recognize your intelligence, but you're going to tell me that you were able, that all of the people that went to Harvard Law School, Harvard Med School, Harvard undergrad, UNC, all of those people, as special students. I know factually, John, if I had to do it all over again, I could tell you up front that where I went to college, I 100% could not afford it. 100% could not afford it. I'm not even pretending like I could have. So those things help to pave the way for me. I don't know if I'm not going to tell somebody I got into school because of affirmative action. I'm going to tell people that opportunity to get into school and got those opportunities. I know if it wasn't things like affirmative action, I would not have gotten it. Right. And again, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, because they don't tell you, nobody tells you it's affirmative action. Right. So a little bit on his bio, Clarence Thomas, that is, we're talking about a little bit, and ruling on the side to vote down affirmative action. Thomas, he was raised by his grandfather in a poor Gullah community in Pinpoint, Savannah, Georgia. He was a Catholic, devoted Catholic. He wanted to be a priest, but he was frustrated with church insufficient attempts to combat racism. He abandoned his aspiration to become a clergyman, to attend the College of the Holy Cross, and later Yale Law School. So you're going to tell me that your father abandoned you when you were a kid, and your grandfather from a poor area in Gulag community, right? I don't know what a Gulag is. This is Gulag, John. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Let's look this up. Gulag are African American ethnic group who predominantly live in the low country region of the United States of South Carolina. The land and culture have preserved a significant of Africanism as a structural, historical, geographical isolation in the communities. So I guess it represents a long-term African region right down there in what they call Geechee.
Geechee,
okay. So they speak Geechee. It's a Creole dialect. I guess they call it Geechee down there. So we know that he's from poverty.
Right.
So coming from poverty, he's not going to afford to go to Harvard Law, Yale Law. And I don't have to ask that question. Either the community recognized that he was going to be somebody great and raised the money to help him, or somebody in his family, right? Somebody in his family, or the government assisted in what he needed to do.
You know what, Roger? I have no problem with a person being in moderate, liberal, right? Conservative views. But what sometimes, we are developed by our personal experiences, things that we've experienced in our lives that give us certain ideologies, thought process, mannerisms. And although we have become successful, we cannot forget about the obstacles that we did face to get to where we're at.
Exactly.
So we do need to have some form of sympathy, maybe not sympathy, but we need to be open-minded and understand that those things that do exist do have an impact upon a person's success in society. The whole point is for us is to be given an opportunity, and that's all we ask for. We're not asking for a handout. We're just asking to be treated fairly. And the reason affirmative action had to be utilized because people were making decisions based upon someone's color not to admit them into certain institutions and businesses and things of that sort. So now, as society develops, they're saying, how can we rectify this? Well, let's consider race and one aspect of them when they're applying. And it's not a definitive factor, but it could be a factor, it could be a swing factor. So maybe the way race was being administered, it caused some discriminatory actions at some period of time. But we forget the overall basis of the utilization of affirmative action. And why did it have to exist? Because of the uneven playing field that people relied solely upon race to not allow you into certain businesses, professions, and things like that. So,
I mean, yeah, and I want to add to that. Like his fight is against racism, right? So
right,
one of so they talk about his fighting. What better way to fight against racism than to neutralize the system that created the racism to begin with, right? So if you're able to neutralize it, like you can't, John, honestly, I can't look at my success level. You can't look at your success level as the norm. There are too many people who are suffering out there that's not at our level, and there are too many people. There are a lot of people greater than you and I both, right?
right,
And so they can't look at, the things that can happen to help you or derail you. And the more obstacle you are, the more futile despair that zone you live in, right? So it does create some problems. So if you're fighting racism, you have to fight all sides of racism. I keep my biggest thing nowadays that I keep talking about is that pie. Which part of that pie you're on? But I want to move on a little bit. We want to talk about healthcare. It's a big issue. Had a meeting yesterday with Yvette Clarke, a public meeting. Thank you, Congresswoman Clarke, for coming out and meeting your community and talking to them and having conversations with them, talking about immigration, talking about healthcare. One of our guests today, Dr. Camtron, and he's going to make sure that I pronounce his name so much properly. Dr. Bryant is coming into the studio in a few minutes. Is to talk about health. And one of the major issues we talk about race is the access, race and class, right? Race and class affect what's going on in health nowadays. And one of the things that we're hoping is to recognize as we talk about race and building power, what are we doing to effectively help our own benefits? What are some of the signs that we need to look out for? What do we need to do? Because, John, really, we as Black folks don't pay attention to our health more than more than any other race, right? And men number one. We don't pay attention to our health at all because we're taught to be tough, right? We're taught to be tough or toughen up when health comes along. And there are a lot of things going on the healthcare front, right? So it's to me, when Dr. Camtron comes on, we will be discussing a lot on men's health and what's going on with that.
yeah. I mean, just to digress for a second with respect to men's health. Roger, you're correct. Some of us are, but I don't think it's not that we feel that we're macho. I think pretty much we're just scared to go to the doctor because we're scared for them to tell us that something's wrong with us, and that's what it is. And sometimes even myself, I don't like to go to the doctor with this, but as I've gotten older, I understand that I need to go to the doctor because it is not about me. It's about making sure that when you have your family and you have your kids, you have to make sure you take care of yourself so you can be around for them. So don't just do it you're not doing it for yourself. Just remind it. the health, the reason you want to make sure you're in good health are for other people that really rely upon you.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think like one of the things, like the first thing that came across my mind when I was sick is what's going to happen to my family. And so
Right.
sometimes I think as men, it's socialism, right? Like not socialism as in politics and political views, but the social component of life where men are providers, right? Where men are providers, and so if we don't want to break that moment, that cycle sometimes because we want to go out and take care of the family unit or is our what is our immediate family unit.
Right.
So a lot of those things. So like, you know, I was working, right? I was working every day. I didn't go and look at everything. I was working 10 to 12 hours a day,
Right.
right? And I wasn't thinking about, oh, I have cancer, right? I wasn't thinking about that at all. Let me bring the doctor on because he's expected to be on at 7:30 and we're a little bit over time. So let's bring on Dr. Camtron. Good morning, doctor.
Good
Good evening,
evening,
doctor.
doctor.
Good
Good
morning.
evening, doctor.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good
Good evening.
So, good afternoon. Our co-host, this is she's going to be joining us in a couple of minutes. Thank you for joining us. I'm Roger Daly. I am the host of the Village Radio Talk Show. And so very excited. We had a brief conversation. John Sampson, Dr. John Sampson over there. And to my immediate left is Dr. Joanne Bryant. John is a doctor, not the same doctor. So we have three different type of doctors today on air. We have the medical doctor, the educational doctor, and the legal doctor on the air. So thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Camthon, and welcome. So let's start with a very quick. While she's getting ready, this is normally her question, but I'm going to ask it for her, which is tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. You can hear me, Dr. Camtron?
Okay.
Camtron?
Yeah. Thanks very much for asking me to be on your talk show. I feel honored that I have this opportunity to speak to all of you. My desire was always how I can serve community. I have educated myself in 3 subcontinents, and passed all the kinds of exams. That knowledge is within me. It has helped me. But now I want to disperse that knowledge to the community for their benefit. I was listening the last portion of the last talk when Mr. Sampson said, we don't go to doctor because of fear that doctor will give a bad news, which is very natural, very natural. But if you go and, for example, doctor tells you that there is something wrong in the blood, that is a very important point, because that's the point from where you start correcting the problem and improving. But if you don't go out of fear, you will never reach to the point where you start correcting or improving.
Correct. You're right, doctor.
So by having fear and avoiding doctor, you are not giving yourself opportunity to correct the situation.
And if you don't know, it makes it worse. So that's a problem. My friend over here.
Yes, if you don't go, yes.
I did go to the doctor. Stop that.
It only took 3 weeks for him to go to the doctor. 3 weeks later. So
I'm going to ignore her because yes, she's right. So, but I did go. I did go to the doctor officially. So tell us, you are an oncology specialist. Tell us, what is an oncologist?
Oncology is the science of treatment of cancer. Nowadays, we have advanced a lot compared to what it was even 25 or 50 years ago. We not only have chemotherapy is one way of treating the cancer. We have radiation treatment, which has now evolved in a way that is not just that you lay on a machine and some x-rays go into your body to treat cancer. The radiation can be given in various ways, various methods, that it can reach to your cancer very precisely. And other than that, we of course always had surgery. In early stages of any cancer, surgery is the best treatment because it can cut it out. But oncology has been evolving, and last 20 years have been very, very significant in the development of cancer treatment. I'm going further to your question that the treatment or the science of treatment of cancer is oncology, and these are the various methods I described: chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. But now, in 20 years, we have come to know that cancer is a genetic disease because now we are finding gene mutation in a cancer. And those mutation of genes gave you the cancer. So cancer has become a genetic disease. Going back 25, 30 years ago, we always blamed this diet, this way of living, this is this. I know some of the things were really wrong, like smoking, but many of the dietary things were not really wrong. Well, what we have found is the genetic defect in the cancer. And now we have some drugs, those can correct it. So if I give you the spectrum of oncology, in 70s it was you do the surgery or you get radiation from x-ray machine in a certain dose, or you get very toxic chemical called chemotherapy. If those three don't work, then that is all you will have. And all the three were not easy.
So I
Yeah,
have
you are saying something?
yes, I have a couple questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in regards to the chemo and the radiation, so which one is more harsh on the body? Would you say it's the chemo or the radiation?
Both are more harsh. Yeah, both are more harsh. If the question is harsh on cancer or harsh on body, both are
Both.
more harsh on
Both.
body. Both are more harsh on cancer. They cannot be compared because radiation, if I give radiation to my this hand, it will work only on this hand only, will not work on my shoulder. So if my cancer has traveled from hand to shoulder, the radiation is treating just the hand portion of cancer, not the shoulder portion of cancer. Chemotherapy has ability to go everywhere in the body, wherever our blood flows. So if the cancer has gone into lung or liver, through the blood, chemotherapy can reach, which radiation cannot. But that does not mean radiation is inferior treatment. Radiation is very potential treatment because in early stages, when the cancer is contained in a place, you can attack it just like drone technology. You can bomb the area where you know there is terrorists very precisely without harming normal civilians. And the radiation has advanced to that extent that utilizing the drone technology, you attack exactly where the cancer is. So both specialties have their good merits, but of course both have their own side effects.
So let's go on. You mentioned three types of treatment: surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. Because
Yes.
of my situation, the world knows I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer, right? Which is very lethal, right? I've been introduced to two other types of treatments. One is holistic or natural or whatever those things that you want to call.
Mr. Daly,
call it
your
doctor.
voice is echoing. Excuse
voice
me,
is echoing.
Mr. Daly, your voice is echoing a lot, and I'm not understanding.
Wait, can you hear me better? Or?
It is better now.
It's better now. All right. So what I'm saying is that I have
Yes.
stage 4. I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Okay.
And so in that, I've been introduced to a whole lot of different things. I definitely hear
Yeah,
that. I hear it now.
too.
John, well,
Hey, Roger, can you need a little volume on me?
No, I don't think it's a volume. I think it's some.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, I
hearing
don't think it's a
echo.
volume.
That's
Let me
fine.
try a different mic. All right. So
And you messed up the time.
yes, that's it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me better? Dr. Kemtron, can you hear me better?
Yeah,
Kemtron.
I could hear John better than you.
What about Dr. Brian? Can you hear Dr. Brian?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was hearing Dr. Bryant. Her voice was not echoing,
So it's probably one of the mics. All right.
but that's okay. I'm okay.
All right. So my question to you, right? My question to you is this: with all of the different, you have the radiosurgery. I don't know if you ever heard of Dr. Gil Lederman out there in Manhattan. He's also has a radio program, an infomercial to talk about radiosurgery. I've met with about 60 million people who says, don't do chemo, don't do this, don't do that. Do natural causes, eat fruits, eat green vegetables, take soursop tea. Do you tell your patients to look at these different options as well? Or is there one particular one that you say, I think goes back to Dr. Brian's question, is there one particular one that you say you would recommend? Or what would be the case that would say to somebody, hey, do radiation, do radiosurgery, do chemo, do natural remedy or hormonal therapy? What would bring you to that conclusion?
Okay. So now we have guidelines because 50 years ago there were no guidelines. So everybody was doing whatever they wanted, they do, or whatever they thought is good. But now we have guidelines, and these guidelines are made by several oncologists together. They review the researches and their results, and they incorporate those results into the guideline. And this guideline process is called, or the organization is called National Comprehensive Cancer Network, NCCN. So I'm advising anybody who is going to any oncologist, ask them, what is NCCN guideline? Those are standard, practiced in all 50 states, and you'll be surprised now they are accepted all over the world. And NCCN is in America, not in outside America, but people can access anywhere. So utilizing that, when somebody says, I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer, there are set guidelines, and I'm going to give those guidelines to the person. That number one choice is, I will give you chemo because these are the results of chemo. Number two is, I can give you radiation. These are the results of radiation. Number three is, surgery cannot be done because cancer has spread outside. Number four is some immune therapy, because now there are immune related alteration in the cancer. We can attack them through immune therapy. Then we have targeted therapy, because now we know what genes are defective and we can target precisely those genes. But NCCN says number one is this, number two is this, number three is this. So I give the whole account and I tell them exactly what is right. So I am not saying what I think. I'm not saying what he thinks or she thinks. Now, coming to fruits and good diet, that is up to the person, and that does not need any advice. It's common sense. Yes, of course, eat good food and good diet. That is a common sense. But talking about precisely about what is the best cancer treatment for me, for this person, that's how I will approach and describe.
Now, is there a specific age that doctors say, hey, hands off when the patient has cancer? Can you hear me?
No, say it again. Is there any specific age?
Like a cutoff age that doctors might say, no, we can't operate, we can't do chemo, we can't do this. Is there a specific age that limits a doctor from proceeding further?
No, there is
So 80 something year old
no,
or
there is no
90?
age. It used to be,
Mhm.
yes. So my patient is 92.
Mm.
And I would say until 1990s, most people would say, now you are 70-year-old, chemo will be too toxic for you, just take radiation. Although
What
I
if they
know
don't do
radiation
anything?
alone will not.
Mm.
So let me answer your question that in 1990s, 30 years ago, that was the approach. Chemo will make you sick, don't take it, just take radiation. It will not cure you, but it will shrink the cancer somewhat. It will help in your pain. It will stop the bleeding. But of course, surgery is too much for you. You may not recover from surgery. So that was in 1990. Now, that age is not a bar. You can have a bone marrow transplant at age of 80.
I'm so
I
happy
guess
you said
I
that.
guess a lot
Okay,
has to do with. I'm sorry, Dr. Brian. Go ahead, Dr. Brian.
No. I said I'm so
go
happy
on.
he said that because the thing is that's not always the information that's given to patients, unfortunately.
And I think that what Dr. Brian is getting on, doctor, is that the misinformation that is provided, and sometimes not so much from the professionals. A lot of people go on the internet. A lot of people, instead of really going to direct to the source to find out exactly, we don't do our homework enough, especially when it comes to situations, when it comes to cancer and other diseases that really impact our longevity. So, you know, it's one point where people are scared
Mhm.
to go to the doctor and find out. This next point, doc, people are worried about the coverage. How can I pay? How can I pay for this? Because I remember my mother, may she rest in peace, had a form of uterine cancer, and she had to take a shot, I think once a month, and this shot was like $1,000 a month. And thank God I was able to pay for it. But it's the whole point of healthcare and the ability to be able to pay for
Mhm.
the medications in order to prolong your life, or deal with the chemotherapy, deal with the radiation.
Yeah. So thanks very much. Thank you. This was a good commentary. But the second part of your question was, is there an age or at some point when I tell patient that is it, that's all you can have. Now keep yourself comfortable. Yes. If I have tried whatever is the standard in the guidelines, then I have tried whatever is any treatment is useful for you. And therefore, my recommendation is comfort care. I will take care of your pain. I will take care of your lack of appetite. I'll take care of your weight loss. I'll take care of your breathing problem. But I don't think any cancer treatment will make any difference for you at this point. You should spend more time with your family and pay attention to quality of life, whatever is left. So there is a time not depending on age. Age may be 60. And if I have exhausted everything, I can tell that 60-year-old patient the same thing, which I can tell an 80-year-old also. So that point comes when you have exhausted everything. Now, the cost is something which is beyond our conversation because we don't have any clue. The other point that Mr. Simpson raised is the information. That's very important. I'm giving you a rough idea. Several years ago, somebody investigated all the medical sites available on internet.
Mm-hmm.
70% were fake. 70% were fake. They were written by not doctors, non-doctors.
Right.
70% sites. So how can you trust their recommendation? But people were reading their recommendations. They were bringing printout to my office. Look, this site is saying like this. Who is this person? What knowledge he has? What training he has? Nobody knew that person. Uh, and unfortunately, even today, there is no regulation because of freedom of speech. And everybody can write anything.
That's true.
So,
So
yeah,
that is up to the person how to screen what is useful, what is not useful, what site to read, what site not to read. But I always suggest my patient to read so that they are educated and I can have good conversations with them. I want two-sided conversation. They ask me question, I answer. They ask question, I answer. I don't want that I am just telling them like a teacher, do this, do this, do this. No, that's not a good visit of a patient. I want them to ask.
so I have two questions. So, but I want to refer to two
Yes.
comments that were here, and goes back to John's
Mm.
comment and a little bit of what you're talking about. So I want to know on the advocacy side, because like Sonia Ford, who's a nurse, right? As a matter of fact, she was one of my nurse at a local hospital, right? She wrote that it's so true, and a lot of people have to keep working while they're under treatment.
Correct.
Monet Harris wrote, "Are the insurance companies going to pay for these procedures?" So I want to continue that dialogue, that question, by saying America has some of the best cares in the world, but other first world countries like Canada, Finland,
Cuba.
well, Cuba is that first world, right? But it is on the same line, right?
Yeah.
They offer a significant amount of care at a significantly lower cost. Are there any advocacy on the medical component? And I'm not just talking about oncology that says, hey, this is just too high. And if this medicine is effective, why do you need to go that high? And I share a story. 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I went to an oncology doctor, right? And when I went to the doctor, I'm on my way home with my wife. She gets a ding on her cell phone. The cell phone says, your American Express card has been charged $3,884.35 for a medication. So I looked at her and I said, okay, maybe it wasn't covered under the insurance. So I had to call the insurance and find out what the hell, right? Not the insurance company, I called the prescription company. They said that this is my copay.
Oh.
Did you hear what I said? This
Wow.
is
Yep.
my
Copay.
copay. It wasn't the
Mhm.
cost of the medication. The medication cost $20,000 plus. Now I know it didn't cost $20,000 to make the medication, but it's probably the best medication on the market. Are the doctors advocating for the foolishness? Because I don't make $3,885, right, on my paycheck. I'm retired. I'm on disability retirement, so I don't make that.
You make 5,000. So come on, Roger.
Right? You understand? And if I ever made 5,000, John, how do I pay the mortgage? Which is over 3,000. So the
Right.
question is, what are the doctors advocating on behalf of the patients? So they're like, my hands are up, my hands are tied. Other countries, they advocate some of these medications are free or at minimal to no cost, and some of these medications are being given away in other countries to help cure and help cancer issues.
Mhm.
So that's another question on the other side. that of the question about looking at patients with cancer and diseases that are debilitating and sometimes terminal.
Okay. There is no one answer because this process is extensive, very involved. Why the cost is so high in America? Because 80% of new researches of new drugs are being done in America. To tell you the statistics, if there are 100 new drugs from various sources, from the bottom of sea or from Amazon jungles or anywhere, out of those 100, first of all, you start studying all the hundreds because somebody will say, when I fed this to animal, the cancer cured in animal.
Right.
Okay, we will try in human.
Right.
So then you do the human study. When you
Right.
do the human study, you will be surprised out of 100, only 3 will be successful. But you have spent thousands of dollars to complete the study for 97 of them. Because there is a way to do study that you have to have certain number of patients on a drug, and you have to prove benefit or no benefit based on statistics, not just percentage. It's statistically significant or not. The reason statistics is important because we all are different. Everybody has different metabolism, different physiology, different thinking, different style of reacting to medicine. So, in
True.
order to encompass all these factors in one research, it requires manpower, it requires time, and it requires money. And at the end, 97 drugs were found useless. But it took whole 1 year. In 1 year, you paid salary to thousands of people. You spend
Mm-hmm.
money in thousands of labs. You spend money on different ideas, and then you spend money on publication. Now you are left at the end of 1 year, 3 drugs. Now with 3 drugs, you have found they are effective in cancer patients. But who were those cancer patients? They were not healthy cancer patients. They were dying cancer patients. That's how FDA has designed. It's called phase 1 study. You test it only in dying cancer patients. Those are going to die anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those have life of 3 more months. Give it to them. So now you have proved that 97 were useless, 3 were good. And I tried in dying cancer patients. Now you take those 3 and give them to newly diagnosed cancer patients. But
Right.
for that, 30 patients or 50 patients are not enough. You have to have 200 patients. That will take
Right.
time. That will have
Mm-hmm.
more efforts, more energy, more money.
Right.
When you have proven that yes, out of those 3, only one was really good. Now the one goes into a next phase of study, which is compared to the standard of care, what we have today and what this new drug is. So new drug versus standard of care. And that those studies can take 5 years. 5 years involves thousands of people's salary, their time, the lab work, and the instruments, and discussion, knowledge, study. Everything costs something. So we have
That's
spent
why
now seven,
that's
8 years. Yes. Yeah. So we
that's
have by
why
this time we have spent. Yes. Go ahead, Samson. Go
no,
ahead.
I think Doc and what you the cost and the the supplies, the experience,
Yes.
the knowledge, the
Yes.
hospitals, it it's all a cost. Uh how
Yes. Yes.
can we how can we um do a better job in making sure that there is adequate health coverage in order to deal with these diseases, catastrophic diseases, when they occur. You know, what do we do? I mean, it's the whole point where we talk. People talk about Medicaid for all, or just the cost of healthcare in and of itself. And
Yeah.
I
So
hate to prevent someone from getting the proper care that they should be receiving to deal with one of these, but just because they may not have insurance, they will not be able to get the level of care that they would have if they had insurance. Because sometimes we have insurance, but it depends upon the level of insurance that you have. We don't have the congressional insurance, because they get top flight insurance. You know, they get top flight health care. But Doc, what I'm saying is, how, in your thoughts, especially in your profession, in this the specialty that you cover, what can we do to ensure that uh, health coverage, the cost of it, does not come into play when we're talking about something like it? You know, what recommendations would you make? And you know,
cannot do it. The first sentence I did before I started saying 80% of researches are done in America.
right?
And then I said we spent 7 years and came to conclusion only 1 out of 100 drug was good after 7 years.
Mm,
Now, how company will recover that cost? How that drug company will recover that cost? Second is, our system is not socialized system. It is capitalist system. It invites competition. If one drug company says this drug is better, the second drug company will compete. No, we
right,
found another one in the bottom of sea. This is
right.
better. And at the end of 7 years, now 2 or 3 are competing and saying this is better, this is better. But everything costs something.
Everything. You're
And
right, Doc.
therefore, these
Everything.
guidelines are helpful. Yeah, to reduce this unnecessary trial of treatment on patients. So you follow the guidelines, you can cut down some of the cost. And insurances, they like those guidelines, because those guidelines, when they are made, finance was also a factor, not just efficacy.
Yeah, Don, I'm on the air. What's up?
So there are efforts to cut down the cost, but I think it will require a lot of political push. And unfortunately, our politicians like money. If drug company pays them money, they will say yes, approved. Now, who will pay the cost of that approved drug?
You're right. You're
Politician
right,
has filled
Doc.
his
You're right.
pocket.
You're right. You're
He's
right.
happy.
Us.
He's
You know,
happy. He's happy.
let's go back to Monet had a question. I have another. I want to change our conversations around money, because I know one of the big things is
Yes.
some of the medical concern, but this is also a medical concern, right? Because if you feel like you
Yes.
can't afford the drug or afford the treatment, some of us, you know I think about it from time to time, right? Paying a medical bill versus leaving I believe strongly in generational wealth, right? So I believe I need to leave my children and my family something when I have left this earth, right? So some of us really do think about, everybody wants to live forever, but the reality will come that you say, what am I going to leave for my children, my family overall? So Monet actually asked a good question here. Are there any grants designed for any of these procedures? You know, we hear about clinical trials. You can do clinical trials and get paid this or you know, whatever, right? Be on the list for clinical trial. Or if I'm on a drug, are there anything accessible for grants? So we're going to ask that last question, and then we're going to bring it back around to look at the oncology system in terms of medical care, medical look, and what we need. So I don't know if you're able to tackle that question, but you can go ahead. Are there any grants designed to help out in these procedures?
Yes. So the grants are based on donations. How much donation a drug company has raised from general public. And
Interesting.
when
Yeah.
somebody does not have money, your oncologist will call the social worker of the hospital. Social worker
Hmm.
will contact, or the pharmacy of the hospital will contact that drug company that I have a
Hmm.
patient who has a stage 4 cancer of pancreas. He has no money. The drug company will say, okay, we can look for some donation, but there is a limit of donation. So they will say it will cost $1,000, but your patient will pay 250. So
Right.
750 is coming from donation. But a point will come, the donation will run out. So this is a vicious cycle. It's unstoppable, a vicious cycle. And why I think a portion of the question before was before we went into this direction, why in Canada and other countries treatment is not that expensive? Because they don't have expenses. They are just buying the drugs from the drug company and not going through the study of 7 years and paying salary to 7,000 people. They are not. You ask Asian countries, the drugs are even cheaper than Canada. How? Because they did no research. They just copied
Mm.
what we are saying. Our research is saying this. They said, okay, that's
Oh
good
Lord.
enough for us. We
Right, right,
accept
right,
that
right, Doc.
result. We are
But
happy. So the last is making it generic or second level of drugs. Most
Right.
So,
developing countries are making equivalent drugs, may not be exactly like the real drug. They are
so
Right.
equivalent.
basically, Doc, you're saying for me to
Need
move to
not be,
Canada.
if the drug dose is 100 milligram, their drug may be 80.
But I'm saying, so it sounds to me like you're telling me that I need to move to Canada and move to China to get the same drug. Go get the Lymphars or the Cap or the Fluranax or whichever one they go. So just move there. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. I love my America. Thank you. All
Yes.
right. So let's bring it back
So
to
they
cancer.
are just using our results and not spending money on research at all. And they are saying, okay, America, your study was good enough. Which was the companies? We will buy the medicine from them directly. So they don't have
now,
expense to discover that.
that's true. Are there any preventative measures that people could take? Now, you mentioned something about
Yeah,
genetics, but also, what preventative methods can people take?
yeah. No, preventive are of two different kinds. One you said, are there any preventive measures? Yes, there are preventive screening like pap smear for cervical cancer, like mammogram for breast, colonoscopy for colon cancer. So those are all preventive. Now, talking about the diet, not even one diet has been proven to prevent any cancer. But
Repeat
the,
that again.
the
Repeat
common
that
sense
again,
is
please. Please
not
repeat that
even
again.
one diet, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not even one diet has been approved that this will prevent cancer, not even one. But if you read internet, there are thousands of publications, thousands of suggestions, thousands of ideas: eat this, eat that, and climb on the tree and chew the leaves or chew the root or chew the fruit. Wrong, 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 wrong. All wrong. Nothing is proven. Proper studies have been done for diet, but no single diet I can tell you that this will prevent breast cancer or this will prevent
Right,
prostate cancer. None. If you
right.
open internet tonight, you will find hundreds of suggestions.
Listen, Doc, you
So
might get. I don't know. You might.
we don't question.
Doc, you might get a few text messages soon that say, "What is this doctor talking about? This works and that works, right? And to help to prevent cancer." But or I'm gonna get it later.
No,
That
no.
eat the natural foods and organic stuff, right? Because I heard that a lot, by the way. Heard it a lot.
Yeah.
I want to go back. I ignored some,
No, there is yes.
right? I ignored signs relating to cancer, so I ignored it. Um, and so we want to talk about.
So what was the sign?
That's what the doctor's here for. So that's what, I'm going to ask the doctor that question. I don't want to give you my answer. So at the beginning stage, in a general thing, and then you can start speaking. Let's speak from the general, and then you can go to different cancers for signs to look at that you need to check yourself out. So let's start with the general. If these things are happening, it might be cancer. What are some of those things? Give us a list of those things. Don't start about a specific cancer yet. Let's talk about generally cancer. What are some signs?
Okay. So the general rule is, if whatever is happening to you, whether it's pain or cough or weight loss, or you are not just feeling good, whatever your doctor has, your primary doctor or your internist, whatever you call, or your GP, has tried whatever he thought was wrong with you, if in a reasonable time he does not have answer, you should think of cancer. This is a general knowledge. I'm not using any specific cancer. I'm not saying for prostate cancer you have difficulty in urination or you have pain in prostate. I'm not saying that. But anything, top to bottom, any symptom which does not have a proper answer, does not go away in reasonable time, think of cancer and ask your doctor, do a scan, do the blood work for cancer. Now, what is scan and what blood work? It will now depend upon where is your symptom. If it is head, that my headache is not going away, do MRI, there may be a brain cancer. If it is breathing, my breathing and cough is not going away, it could be lung cancer, do my scan of the lungs. So that will be step number 2. The first step will be, why my cough is not getting better. I tried all medicine. I took over the counter. I went to all kinds of non-doctors people. I tried all kinds of diet and internet treatments and everything. Never gave me something to chew. I'm doing it. And my cousin came from Florida. She gave me some leaves to chew. I did that. But now it is 4 months. It's not going away. So I should be serious. I should ask to do specific tests such as a scan or blood workup, which you will be surprised even today in 2023 with so much knowledge and education about cancer. It's still there are once a month I see one case. They surprise me. You have been going around with doctors for 1 year, and now you are found to have cancer. This is in 2023.
Right.
Scary.
Are there any other physical symptoms beside that, like weight loss, change of diet, eating habits? What pain? What else? Or is there a combination of things? Like, yes, my headache is not going away. I think I suffer from migraine and sinus. But there's maybe something else that's added to that. What are some other things that people can look for?
Okay. The symptoms I just said, including weight loss or including cough or headache, I gave example of them. But the signs are related to a specific organ, like I gave example of prostate in man. I cannot urinate. I have been to several doctors. I have tried internet treatment. I took this vitamin, that vitamin. I ate a lot of zinc, everything. But my urination is not better. I should do something. I have a pain in my lower portion of body. There is something else. So do my scans. I gave example of brain cancer. My headache is not going away. I tried migraine treatment. I tried sinus treatment. I tried different internet treatment. I tried what my neighbor told me. It's not working. do my MRI of the brain. So the signs are specific to that part of body. For lung, it is cough and shortness of breath. For head, it is headache. For bowel, it is irregular bowel habit or blood in stool, unexplained blood in stool. Uh, for prostate, I said difficulty in urination, blood in urine, or pain in lower down area. So some organs will give you hint early, but unfortunately, many organs would not, like pancreatic cancer, because it is so deeply buried inside in our body. By the time it shows symptoms, it has already spread. Compared to breast cancer, where a woman will say, "Oh, I took shower, I felt a lump. This was not there a month ago." So she found it. But that's not the case with cancer of pancreas, cancer of gallbladder, or even liver cancer.
Question, what are some, just because people keep asking me a lot of this question, which I don't know the answer to, what are some causes of pancreatic cancer?
No,
Do you
no
know?
proven cause of pancreatic cancer. No. We can, if you start reading literature, people will give you example of various diet, but nothing is proven that this diet will give you cancer, or you ate this, therefore you have cancer. No. Again, I will go towards the genes. One can easily find some genes are defective in you. What changed those genes? We don't know. But I can give example of, in case of lung, smoking changes the gene. That's how smoking gives lung cancer.
Tell us about the stages.
I can give example of hepatitis B and C. Those viruses, they change the genes in liver. Therefore, people have liver cancer. So there are some culprits, those we used to talk 20, 30 years ago, but we did not know how they are giving us cancer. We did not know
Right.
how smoking gives us cancer. But now we are seeing, oh, these genes were altered. Therefore, this person has cancer. He was a smoker. Because time to time, you will see somebody is a chain smoker all their life, and he lived 90 years old without cancer. How? His genes didn't change with smoking.
And what about
But somebody at 45 has a lung cancer, he smoked for 10 years.
so
But Doc, in instances such as I think was it Christopher Reeve's wife? She had lung cancer and never smoked a day in her life. Some people who do have certain cancers, like you said, the genes,
like
and marijuana. So
Inhaling marijuana.
inhaling it when you're
That's your internet reading.
No.
That's her internet reading. You don't have to answer that. Don't answer that.
I would say,
don't answer it, please.
no, I would say the science has advanced from here to here. These now a non-smoker having a lung cancer at age of 45, and a smoker who smoked all life and lived 80 years of age without cancer. How? Because the genes in 45-year-old were defective at birth, and something else happened.
And it wasn't the smell of the word. Right?
that's interesting.
Listen, Doc, we're not going to listen to her because she's anti-cannabis. She's actually, I want to ask maybe one of my fellow co-host or host can ask a question, but I want to tell us what there are 5 stages of cancer, and Sonia has a question, and another person texted me a question. Right, but I thought there was a stage 0.
There are only 4 stages of cancer. 4 stages of cancer.
I thought there was a stage 0. Because people tell me I'm at stage 0. I've heard that.
Not in everyone. Not in everyone. It's stage 0. Stage 0 is not a cancer. It is precancerous. So it's not a
Okay,
cancer.
so tell us about
It's
what
precancer.
each stage is and what does it mean? What are so of the 4 stages?
Good.
Tell us what they mean. Stage 1 all the way through stage 4. And is there stage
Okay,
4
good.
plus?
This is good, and very important to educate everybody. Stage 1 is very small cancer. To give you example, in case of breast, a breast lump below 5 centimeter is a stage 1. In case of lung
Below how
cancer,
many
3
centimeters?
centimeter
Below,
below
5 centimeters
3,
above.
3 and
below
5.
3.
I'm giving example. A
Yes.
3 centimeter in lung is stage 1. But there are other factors. So it's not just the size. It's the other factor those you consider. We have lymph glands. Lymph glands are our sanitation
Yes.
system. They clean
Yes.
us.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
when the cancer has traveled into that sanitation side, those swell up. Now that part of organ is not being cleaned. Cancer has gone. So if the lymph node is affected, although the cancer size is 1 centimeter, cancer is 1 centimeter, but 2 lymph glands are affected, that becomes a stage 3. That becomes a stage 3.
Wait, I'm sorry. I
Cancer
missed
in the
that.
breast was 1 centimeter, but 3 lymph glands were affected. It is a stage 3.
And you said the lymph
So
glands
it is
are
not
the
just
sanitation. What do you mean by that, Doc? When you say the sanitation, the lymph glands are the sanitation.
okay.
What do you mean?
Correct. Good. This is good question. Like, who keeps our mouth clean? We eat everything. Do you really truly brush after eating everything? Do you really truly brush after drinking everything? No.
No.
Who cleans our mouth clean for 80 years? It's our sanitation system. Where is sanitation system? When we have sore throat, you feel here the glands are swollen. You will feel
Right.
better in a child. Child has a strep throat. What is that? That is strep throat is there in the throat, but it has gone into his sanitation system. Why it has gone? Because now sanitation system will recycle the strep and kill it and throw away the waste and keep the good thing. And child is better in 3 days. So when you examine a child, you will say, why your neck is swollen? These are glands. What are these lumps, doctor, in his throat? They were not there 3 days ago. Those are lymph glands. They are sanitation system. They clean us and they keep our nose clean, mouth clean. Various parts, unfortunately, of our body, like nose, mouth, the backside, the urine system, the stool system, they all are exposed to a different infection. Why we don't get sick every day? Because the sanitation system keeps on draining dirty stuff, recycle it, throw away the waste system.
That's
We don't see this
and Doc,
sanitation.
Doc, that's very interesting the way you described it, because I remember my mother who had uterine cancer, and she was in remission, but then the cancer got into the lymph nodes, and once it got into the
Correct.
lymph nodes, it started to spread and metastasize to other organs in the body.
Correct. You are right. So if the sanitation system is overburdened, then this dirty stuff has to go somewhere else in the body. Wherever it can go, this dirty stuff. And it can go lungs, it can go into liver, in your bones, or anywhere. Because the
So,
sanitation system of uterus failed.
but Doc, how do we clean our sanitation system? How do we um immunize
John, we
immunize
cannot clean, but we can keep the organ clean. No, we cannot clean it, but we can keep our mouth clean. If we keep our mouth clean, the load on our sanitation system on these glands is less compared to somebody who keeps his mouth dirty, who keeps his hygiene dirty, the urine system, the stool system, everything. Somebody who keeps that dirty, then you are exhausting your sanitation system.
so Doc, like even when we talk about colon cancer, uh is that another form of we don't keep our bowel systems, we don't have enough of bowel
No,
movements or whatever it is?
no.
Okay, so I just want to understand. Okay. Okay.
No, no. So our good Lord has made our bowel in a way that every day our sanitation system cleans it, and we don't
Okay.
get cancer, we don't get infection in bowel for years and years, because He made our body, which is very strong. He knew it what are going to be the function of bowel, and He made the sanitation system very strong. Now, you may find people, those are constipated, they have more colon cancer. That's not proven. That's not really true. So the basic is keep your hygiene clean, eat good and healthy food, and you can avoid lots of problems. Simple
So,
example I just now gave: keep your mouth clean if you want these glands not to swell up.
so the
So
question,
simple to keep mouth clean.
So you know what, Doc, from what I'm hearing and what I'm gathering from all of this, it's just like it's our ability to be able to, as you're saying, take care of ourselves, clean our systems, eating
You
right,
are right. Yes.
eating those foods
Yes.
that help us keep our system clean, keep
Yes.
our immune systems high to deal with a lot of these
Correct.
uh unsanitary things that enter our bodies. For example, like you say, smoking,
You are right.
uh
Yes.
things things like that. So it really comes down to, one, sometimes we
Mm.
get these because it's hereditary. Another thing is that we can
There
shift.
are, but that's where the genetic issue comes. That's where the genetic issue comes, because that gene is abnormal in the family.
Now, can you get tested for
And that's
that
the
though?
example I gave. A 45-year-old has a lung cancer. He never smoked.
Can you get tested? Like, for example, if my grandmother had cancer or my grandfather had cancer, should I go and get tested if I know that, hey,
Yes.
genetic in the same specific
Okay.
area
So
or
I
just,
will tell you, if your grandmother was 75 and had a breast cancer, the chances that you will have a gene are very little. But if your
okay,
grandmother died of breast cancer at age of 55, you have very high chance you have a genetic factor within you, and you should be tested.
okay.
Because
so,
as we live longer, some genes are going to be altered because of environment.
Hmm.
If we live long,
Oh,
many things will change in our body at some point.
what,
so
what about job related, like exposure
okay.
to different chemicals and things? So if you're
Yes.
working in
Yeah.
a toxic environment, will that contribute to you acquiring or developing some form of cancer?
Sanitation, as he said,
You are right.
sanitation.
You
But
are right.
sometimes you
Yes.
don't
Yes.
know
Yes.
that you've been exposed.
You are right. You are right. Yes. Simple example: alcohol. Tonight, how many people will drink alcohol in Brooklyn?
Oh
And that
yeah,
alcohol
Doctor.
is a chemical. It's a strong chemical.
I
Not
love my
here.
wine,
It's a
Doc. I
strong
love my
chemical.
wine.
Not up here.
Right?
Not up here.
Dr. Barnes says she can have about like 5 cups of wine when she gets home
I
because
don't.
I'm driving her crazy in the studio. So, I don't- all right. So I want to go back because you're explaining stage 4, stage 3, and the rest of them, and then you got
Yeah.
around to
So
the asbestos and lymph
stage
nodes and
three I described. Yeah. Once this is a basic rule. When the cancer has gone to lymph gland, it has to be 3. But when cancer goes out of the organ where it is started, such as lung, it is started, but it has gone to liver, it's a stage 4. It has gone out of lung and gone to the brain, it's a stage 4. It has gone to the bone, started in lung, it's a stage 4. And that principle applies to uterus, for colon, for pancreas, for lung, for everything. When the
when
cancer is out of its phase, it is a stage 4.
But there are times, even at stage 4, that they will do surgery. What makes them decide at stage 4 when the term is metastasized, right? So when it is
Yeah.
metastasized to
So
say stage 4,
therefore, there are
why would they decide
scans
when to do
now.
surgery or
Yes.
not to?
Okay. First of all, when there is a new patient comes to me, I will do top to bottom scan, PET scan and CAT scan, whole body, because I don't know if the cancer is just in the breast or gone somewhere else. That takes about 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I can tell that person, no, it is confined to your breast only. Okay. Now, the question is surgery. If I say cancer is in the brain, cancer is in the lung, and cancer is in the whole spine, back spine, how many places will you cut in that body? Brain, spine, and lung. Can you do that? Is it practical? Will the person survive? No. So you tell that person, sir, it has gone to your spine, and I cannot remove your spine because you will not be able to stand. And no surgery can remove all that cancer. I can remove, if there was only one spot of cancer in the brain, I can remove that. But you have so many spots. If I start cutting every spot, 5 spots in the brain, you will not have any brain left. What's the point of living? What kind of surgery is that? So that's how you decide how much can be cut without jeopardizing your living. If there are 5 spots in the brain and I'm going to open and cut out all 5, you will lose your speech, you will lose your strength in arm or leg, or some other function, or you will lose your memory. So what's the point of doing that? So I will rather give you radiation treatment and chemotherapy so that you continue living and have your brain. So that's how you decide, can you have surgery or not? And therefore, stage 1, stage 2, and some 3 can be cut out. Some 3 can be cut out.
You know, I had asked my doctor, why not just cut out the tumor in my pancreas? And he said, oh, we're not going to do it because it's stage 4, but I just cut out the one in the pancreas because it's the big one. He said no.
So if you have spread in the liver, he can cut out what is there in the pancreas, but then he has to cut the liver because there are 2 spots in the liver. And then it has gone to your sanitation system, all lymph glands. How many lymph glands can he remove if they are 70, 80? Can your body stand to that kind of surgery? And in order to cut the cancer of pancreas, I have to cut a portion of your bowel. I have to cut your bile system. That surgery itself is not easy to sustain. Many people will never recover from that surgery. They will have nutritional problem. They eat and it just goes out because you cut out portion of bowel, you cut out bile, you cut out portion of liver. How will life go on? So the surgery is easy to say, but one has to think what is going to be the outcome. If I cut half of his liver, half of his bowel, what is the life this man has?
There's a question on the
Or
screen.
not only that, will he ever recover from this surgery?
There's a question on the screen or comment on the screen. Stress physiologically causes cancer. Is there any truth to that? The stress cause cancer?
No, not proven. No, it's not proven. Not proven. This has been always an issue, but it has not proven. Many people will give example that, look, such and such mother was depressed all life and now she has a breast cancer. What depression did to her genetic system, we don't know. And the cancer came because the gene was mutated due to depression, due to a stressful situation. So stress will not give me a lung cancer. Stress will not give me a lung cancer.
All right, so we're going to just go through some of these comments from our audience, about 5 or 6. Dr. Bryant and I will just rotate with them and then just give them a quick response to their question.
And thank you for
Yes.
our
And thank you for
listeners.
this. And thank you for listeners. Go ahead.
There are foods that are generally healthier for us to eat, but there are
No, it's a
more.
lot of echo. I cannot hear.
I think it's John. John, mute your mic.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Okay.
Which I am seeing some comments. Which one you want to?
This one.
I answered Karen Greenwood's. I answered Karen Greenwood's.
So Joseph Marthone asked, or states that there are foods that are generally healthier for us to eat, but they're not guarantees. What's your comment? I mean, you did touch on that a little bit.
He did touch on that.
Yeah, like it is a common sense. We all know all the naturally grown fruits and foods are healthy for us. Anything that has preservative, anything that has artificial or synthetic substance can be harmful, because the synthetic portion of the food or preservative are strong chemicals. We don't know what do they do inside our body. So stay natural. Just eat the vegetable the way they are, the fruits the way they are. Eat them naturally. Most foods and fruits are very good.
I think Sonia, go down.
So this one you just answered,
Yes.
but are there specific materials that will contribute to?
No, I missed the last portion. There is a specific material that.
I don't know. He
Yeah,
just
no, well, that's. I think you kind of answered that when you talk about alcohol. You spoke about smoking. What about work environment, like chemicals,
That's what I wanted to
high up in a building? Does air quality? When I say air quality, like let's say you work on the 96th floor of the Empire State Building,
or construction.
are those factors? Are those some things that people need to look out for? Take a break and come back down to the first floor, construction, those kind of things.
No. That's not proven yet. No. It feels us that this could be stressful to our body, and it can affect our body in a different way, but no relationship with cancer.
Okay.
All right.
This one says, how is it determined where cancer will spread? How
Say it again. How?
How is it determined where cancer will spread?
Okay. Yeah. So I said in the beginning that when I see a new patient, I do a top to bottom scan, CAT scan or a PET scan, top to bottom. So I know that your cancer is not just in lung, it has gone to your back spine and it has gone to your brain. But when I'm treating somebody has already had surgery, as John just said about his mother, about uterine cancer. She was all free of cancer, but she had some follow-up scans found lymph glands. The same is the lung cancer was cut out 5 years ago, but now there is a new cough. You do another scan and there may be another spot on the lung. Or somebody has unexplained backache. You do scans of the spine and you will find a spot of the cancer on the spine. So this is example when somebody already has one treatment for cancer and was living free of cancer. But after a year, 2 year, 5 year, now has a new symptom. And when you looked into, you found cancer there. But first example I gave, a new patient. For new patient, always look into top to bottom. If insurance says no, I fight against them.
Now, in regards to people who have had cancer or treatment and they want to have children later on, will any of the treatment prevent them from having children later on, female or male?
No. Rather, all children born from breast cancer women are healthy.
Okay.
And this is not just 10-year study, this is 50 years. No, this is, I'm talking about 50 years. I'm talking about 50 years when the treatment for breast cancer was toxic chemotherapies. toxic chemotherapy that failed the ovary, that completely failed the ovary in a 40-year-old woman, but she still gave birth to a healthy child, and the child
After
remains fine
treatment. Okay.
All right, so
after all chemotherapy.
we're going to commercial. Just real
See?
fast, we have a couple commercials to run. We have to pay the bills. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us on
Grace Family Adult
Village
Social
Radio,
Daycare.
the Grace Family radio show, the Grace Family, the Village Radio Talk Show. I am your host, Roger Daly. Dr. Joanne Bryant is to my right. Dr. John Sampson is in his car, and talking to Dr. Comtron from Mount Sinai Medical and Oncologist talking about cancer. We're brought to you by the Grace Family Adult Social Daycare, where you can talk about relieving some of your stress that somebody brought up in the audience. We're talking about coming out, having a good time, enjoying life, keep yourself active, your mind active, physically, mentally, and socially. Billiards, table tennis, dominoes, bingo, cards, board games, arts and craft. If you know somebody, salon services for ladies and gentlemen. So if you know somebody who wants to come out, they have to have Medicaid. The program is free once they have Medicaid, and we're offering 1 month of free services to some for adults if they like it. So do call 646-504-5778 or send an email for that family member or friend to Grace Family Adult at gmail.com, or check us out on the website at gracefamilyasdcare.com. You can call 646-504-5778. So I want to go to.
There's one more question.
Oh, wait. I want to ask this question. Let's get a nitty-gritty question.
Before your nitty-gritty, please answer this one. Does the lack of sufficient fluid, water, and lack of body movement, exercise lead to cancer?
No, I am trying to read that one. I think it is the last comment. Does
Which
the
one?
lack
One
of
before this?
sufficient fluid, water, and lack of body movement, exercise lead to cancer? No. Dehydration does not give you cancer. No. Lack of exercise, I think, has some role, but it's not proven.
Let's
It's
get to a
not
nitty-gritty question.
The same is the body weight. There are obese people in our society, they may not have cancer. And on the other hand, somebody who goes to gym every day, yes, has a cancer.
So
So there is no direct relationship which is proven.
Is everyone guaranteed to get some sort of cancer?
I hope not.
No. Not everybody, no.
A lot of interesting questions.
But
So
the
one
incidence
thing-
of cancer is rising.
Oh.
So
Say, Dr. Bright, again.
Wait. You said the incidence of cancer is rising?
The
Correct.
number of people getting cancer is rising. So let me get to my question, right? My question is as follows.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it is the detection rate has increased. Now we detect more. Now we have better scans.
All right.
Now
Okay.
we have better scans, better ways to detect.
Okay.
Just talk about lung cancer screening. 15 years ago, there was no lung cancer screening. Now we have a lung cancer screening. And that's how we are finding. 15 years ago, any person you will say, oh, do a chest x-ray. If it is fine, you don't have cancer. Chest x-ray was a weak test. Now we have a proper scan for screening of lung cancer. So by having more screening, we are finding more.
So my question to you that Dr. Bryant doesn't want me to ask, that's why she keeps popping this question up, right? Sex life. Not children, but sex life. Sex life with cancer. How does treatment of cancer and or cancer affect a person's sex life? The physical
Very
ability for intimacy.
much in many ways. Yeah, in many ways. I gave example for breast cancer. The chemo will affect the ovaries, um, and make the sexual part of a woman very dry, and the same happens in man. So these toxic chemicals can affect that. Not only this, not only the toxic, but just the feeling that I have a cancer. Sex life becomes number last. The first thought in my mind is I have a cancer. The second will be I have a treatment date tomorrow. The third will be what else I can do to fight this cancer. So in all these orders, sex is the last one. Sex is maybe 10th, sex is maybe 15th. So lot of sex people cannot perform because there are many things overwhelming them. Lots of many other things are occupied their brain and thought process. So sex becomes number last. And then you can say, well, he didn't do sex for 6 months because cancer is doing something. No, he does not feel like, he does not have those thoughts, he does not have those feelings. His brain is occupied with his cancer treatment. And the thought that what if the treatment fails? Who will take care of my children? Who will take care of house and my wife? Those thoughts are overwhelming the brain than anything else. Who
So
will
it's
pay
not
the bills? Those thoughts are overwhelming than the sex. Sex is number 10th or number 20th in that person's priority.
one of the things that I hear people talk about is that they're afraid that they might have a side effect from the chemotherapy or from the radiation when they're not doing it, and that will happen to them from their partners. And they might be afraid that they might get cancer because they're now getting
No, no,
introduction of
no.
chemo and radiation and all of these different things that their partner is doing.
Yeah. This is true that some chemicals, some chemos, you can transfer through sexual contact one to another, but not so many. Not so many. Radiation, yes, immediately after radiation, there is so much radiation in the body that you can transmit some of the radiation to your partner. But it's not all the time, not always. Not
Okay.
like radiation finished a month ago, you still have radiation. No, you don't have radiation in your body. It's gone long time ago.
All
The
right.
chemo
One
left
person.
your body long time ago.
Okay. I
Say
was
it
going to ask
again.
like how many. No. Somebody texted me this question. It says Roderick asked him about white blood cells and platelets. How are that affected by chemo, and what can you do to improve your WBC and your platelet counts after chemo
Okay.
or
Yeah, that's
during
very
chemo?
important. Yeah. Any body cell, not just white and platelets, those multiply fast, grow every day. They will be killed by chemotherapy. Give you example. The lining of our tongue and mouth, they change every day. The lining of our colon change every day. The nail grow every day. Nail are growing as we are talking this minute.
Mm-hmm.
That nail will become brittle after some chemo. So white and platelets are important for other functions, like white cells defend us against infection, platelets prevent any bleeding. So we pay more attention to them. But the fact is, all the cells of the body, those are grown and are shedded from our body every day or within few days, they are all affected.
Mm-hmm.
As I gave example, the mouth, as I gave example of nails or skin or bowel,
That's true.
they are
That is
all
true.
killed. But it is the white cell and the platelet, those are essential because on one hand you are saying chemo and then you are killing the white cell, so person will have infection. So therefore they are important. And there are drugs, those can be given as shots after chemo to boost the recovery of white cells. To give you example, if you don't give those shots, they may take 5 to 7 days to recover. But if you give them shot, they recover in 3 or 4 days. So there are treatment, those can be done to improve. For platelet is the same thing. Platelets grow faster and you can give platelet transfusion. In one day, you can raise the count to several thousand. But there are growth factor injections for platelets too. Those can be given, but they take little longer than white cell to grow.
Okay,
So it
thank
is
you.
better to transfuse, and within a day you can improve the count.
There are a couple of questions. Go back up.
Yeah.
Monet's question of the physiological. Go ahead. So just very fast. So does the physiological play a big part also? The physical makeup of a person, does that play a part?
No, your sound is echoing. Say it again. Or where is the
It's on the screen.
comment?
So
Like,
the
oh, so
physiological.
the physiological plays a very big part also. This is a very vague term. Like if you ask me where do I live in America. Did I tell you my address? And you ask me where do I live in America. I didn't tell you my address. The physiology is a very wide, big term. What part of physiology you are talking? So I won't agree that physiology plays a role. No, physiology runs our body every day. You are talking because of your physiology of your brain. I am talking because my physiology of the brain is working. You are talking because your physiology of tongue is working. I am talking because my tongue and mouth is working. Eh? This is physiology. This is physiology. When you want to raise the sound, you use your throat physiology. Eh? By raising the throat physiology, are you going to get cancer? No. So these are very vague and wide terms, and they mislead people. So be very specific and precise.
There are several more questions. This one, and then I'm going to go back to Stickle. If you have prostate cancer treated with ARC radiation instead of surgery, should you still be worried after 7 years? Can one, or when can one then donate blood? So it's two questions.
Okay,
in
so
one.
there are two questions.
Yes,
There are two
in one.
questions in one. Yes, you should be worried even after 7 years because prostate cancer grows slowly and it can even come back after 10 years, 12 years. It grows slowly. Therefore, patients with prostate cancer live longest. So 7 year is good, but then other thing you are not telling me. What was the stage of cancer when it was operated? If it was little bit, one third of the prostate was affected, removed, completely gone, you may live another 10 years without a relapse. But if the whole prostate was affected by cancer, even if it was removed by radiation or surgery, it has a very high chance it will come back. The second portion is, can one, for when can one? Okay,
Donated.
then
It's
donate blood.
about donating blood.
Yeah, I don't think there is restriction for blood donation. If your blood numbers are good, you can donate after some years. But you cannot donate if you have active cancer. If you have active cancer and you are on treatment, you cannot donate.
All right. So we have a few questions. We have a short amount of time. I know we have a couple of commercials that's still left to be aired. So let's start with this one. The Domino Tournament Weekend, August 11th through 13th at 1330 Utica Avenue. If you're a domino aficionado, you love to play, please come out, win some money. I think it's a $10,000 prize giveaway. Bring a team on Friday, your random partner on Saturday, and mentor partner on Sunday. You can check them out at www.worlddominoes.com or ask a question info@worlddominoes, spelled the British way, ES.com. Win up to $10,000 in cash and prizes. Thank you so much. All right. Again, Doctor, we only have about like 3 or 4 minutes left, so we're going to try to get those questions answered.
Yeah, let me answer this first question. Roddick, let me ask first question. Has the rate of survival increased? Yes, it has improved. People are living longer. Example is breast cancer. Now many women are cured. The second question is, if you had prostate, I already answered. The third question is, yes, you can take holistic medicines provided you know what chemicals they have, because there can be interaction between your chemotherapy or immune therapy with holistic medicine, but you can take.
So
tell Janice she can continue.
Thank you so much. So first of all, I want to say thank you for all your feedback, all your
Yes,
answering
definitely,
and
Doc.
questions. You have
Definitely.
been so informative. You're breaking things down and bringing us on the same page. We appreciate that. We appreciate our listeners for writing in questions and asking these important questions. How can people reach you? How can
you reach to me?
Yes, how can our listeners, they need to find you? Where can we find you? Where can we look you up?
It will, if I give my cell number, then it will be non-stop.
What hospital are you affiliated with? What
Okay.
you have your own practice?
I am employed by Mount Sinai Brooklyn Hospital. Mount Sinai Brooklyn is on Kings Highway, and I work there Monday to Friday. I'm available. But if they are just walking into that hospital and saying, I have a question with doctor, they will not be allowed to do that, because I will have really sick patients I'm taking care. So the best is, I was going to ask the same question to you. I have not answered many of these questions. How, through your channel, I can answer those questions? Such as, can you send me 3 questions a day through my email, and I will answer them, and you send those without showing my email to the person.
Not a problem. We could do that.
So you send me, you will use my email, which you all know, and I will get the question or comment of the person. I will reply you back to the Village Radio show and not to the person. And then you send just the portion of answer to that person.
So it's not YouTube, it's directly from the doctor. We love it. We love it. Monet and everyone else
it's directly to me. Yes.
We would love to
So just send your question to Village Radio, and they will send your question to me, and my response will come to you through Village Radio.
Wait. I just want to read. We really have to run. I think we have about 30 seconds left. But I want to read you 2 comments real fast. We'll go back to Sharon Bruce's comment. Just want to let you know that you have done a great job today. This is one of her comment, very informative section. Read Stickles' comment that said, he pays you a great compliment. Not every smart person is a great teacher. You're obviously both. Thank you, Doc. And the last comment from Joseph Marthone, just want to say thank you, Doctor, and the utmost love and respect, and thanks to my brother Roderick. Please stay blessed. So thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
He has to come back.
Yeah, and you have to come back. So we'll work on you coming back with Andre. I know a lot of people are not going to send the email, but a lot of person will listen in and tune in, looking forward, and probably bring a friend, share it with a friend about what some of these questions that you have answered. So thank you so much, Dr. Campton. I didn't get a chance to pronounce your first name properly. Can you pronounce that for me? How did you pronounce your first name?
Thank you. Sorry, say it again. I missed the last portion.
I was saying for you to pronounce your first name, because I knew we didn't get a chance to have you pronounce your first name, so that we can get a Arvind or Arvind?
Yeah, you Arvind.
Arvind.
You said excellent. The second time you said it right, Arvind.
Okay, so perfect. So thank you. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for watching, listening, sharing, viewing, participating on the village. We'll see you next time on Thursday from 7 to 9, where we're brought to you by the World Domino Federation, Grace Family Adult ASD Care.com. Check them out. Check everyone out. God bless each and every one of you. Enjoy your weekend. Have a very safe 4th of July
Yes.
week next week. And I want to make sure before I get off, before I get beat up, a happy birthday
To your
to
wife.
my wife.
Mhm.
Tomorrow she's celebrating a big birthday. So congratulations.
Bless, bless, bless,
Happy
bless.
birthday to her.
Birthday.
And make sure that she enjoys
Yes, very
it.
nice,
and
very
enjoys
nice.
her husband. God bless you. Have a great evening, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Right here on the
Thank you.
Village.
And I told Andre I can do more shows because I know there are many questions those I have not
Yes.
answered. I can do more number of shows
Thank you, sir.
if needed. And as I said,
Well,
you can
no,
pass
you will
their
be
comment to me.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, God bless.
Yeah,
Everyone,
thank you.
good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.